PSA, it's no secret that they've been crazy busy. But how busy have they been? Today, I want to look at the pop counts from yesterday and compare them to what we're seeing today and what impact you're going to see tomorrow. Details coming up on the next episode of DIY Sports Cards. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of DIY Sports Cards, a production of IconicTradingCards.com. This is a place where we take a deep dive into the buying and selling of sports cards. I'm Ramon. Sup? Viewers, you guys get it. I've been reading all your comments. I've really enjoyed reading them. And the feedback I've been getting from you is favorable, very positive. Thank you very much. But not only that, I do sense that all of you that are watching this program understand. You get it. You're a collector at heart. Yes, you're out there looking to try to do some investing, but it's not for the sole purpose of just making money, but it's making money so that you can turn that into a better quality card in your collection. Kudos to you. So PSA, there's no denying they've been crazy busy. I mean, the market has really flooded them with millions of cards, literally, to get graded over the past couple years. Today I want to go inside the numbers and take a deep dive into understanding how busy PSA has been, both from a perspective of what the pop count looked like prior to today's ultra-modern sports card market, and what this is going to look like in the short term going forward. Let's take a deep dive into the numbers, and let me show you what I'm talking about. We're going to go inside the numbers, and I want to go take a deeper dive into the pop counts, going back to 2016 to current. 2016 is the year before today's ultra-modern sports card market. And again, we're going to look at PSA. The reason why I like PSA is it provides a good insight on what the market dynamics are. They're still king in the industry, so they're going to have the biggest volume. It only makes sense to look at what their historicals suggest to give an indication of what the market's doing. It's a good behavior analysis. Okay, so the first number I want to share with you is 38.1 million. Now you may see this number somewhat familiar. That is actually the pop count at the end of 2021. So on December 31st, 2021, these are the total number of cards that PSA has graded life to date on record. Next number. How about we go back in time? 20.9 million. This is the estimated pop count at the end of 2016. PSA showed up some graphs, and this was probably around March, April timeframe. They were giving an indication of how many cards they were grading year over year. So what I did was took the approximation of those graphs, because they didn't really give exact numbers, and subtracted those numbers from the current pop count at the end of 2021. And what I got was a number that suggested what 2016 looked like. Back then, PSA was only grading somewhere between 1 and 2 million cards. I can't remember the number, but it's nowhere near what they're doing today. But as such, 20.9 million cards was the pop count that PSA had universally on record back at the end of 2016. So if you go back to the numbers and you look in it, what you're going to see is 17.2 million. Well, that's just a simple math exercise. That represents the total cards that were actually graded from 2017 to 2021. So in 5 years, they graded 85% of the quantity of cards that they did from 2016 back to the beginning of PSA. They've been busy. They've been very busy over the past 5 years. All right, now we're going to do some predictive analysis here. What we're looking at here is 41.8 million cards. What is this? This is the projected pop count by June of this year. So looking 5 months ahead, 5 months in the future, based on the volume of cards that they're doing monthly, PSA is going to be at 41.8 million cards as a total pop count by June. Why is this number so appealing to me? That month, June 2022, is officially going to be the month where they double the pop count that they ended with in 2016. So 5.5 years is all it took for PSA to double the pop count that they had at the end of 2016. Okay, last number I'm looking at, 7.5 million. What does this represent? This is the projected pop count for the ultra-modern sports cards by June of 2022 in the big three sports. So if you think about it, they double their pop count in 5.5 months. In that same amount of time, they graded 7.5 million cards that were produced from 2017 to 2021. 7.5 million, divide that by 21.8 million. That's roughly about 36%. So the impact of ultramodern sports on the total pop count over the last 5.5 years is about 36%. Almost a little bit more than 1 out of 3 cards. That's a lot of production. But it also shows that PSA, again, has been dealing with tremendous numbers of volumes. High number of cards that they've been trying to grade through. Crazy, crazy times. So what do these numbers tell me? Tells me 2 obvious things. Number one, the most obvious thing, yeah, without a doubt, PSA has been super busy. They've had a lot of work to do. The customer base has flooded them with a lot of cards. PSA, they suffered the consequences. They couldn't keep up. Lead times on getting cards back to customers are still about a year, unless you're buying the higher cost services. So here we are in February of 2022, and customers are still waiting for their December of 2020 and even January of 2021 submissions to come back to them. So they say they have 80% of the workforce dedicated to this, but what that tells me is I'm not sure they're totally out of the woods yet. They still have a little bit of work. And let's not forget, in March of 2021, they were flooded with over 600,000 packages a day in the first couple days of the month of March of last year. So they said they were averaging over 1 million cards a month in 21 in receiving. So by the simple math, that tells me they still have 3 million cards that they have to get through. And they're barely into January. I know the complete through dates say they're in February. I'm not so sure. The other thing that's kind of curious, that's interesting, is when it comes to April 1 of 2021, PSA shut down. So once they get through this backlog and they're complete and got all the value submissions done from the prior year, I'm guessing they'll be somewhere between May, June timeframe. After that, PSA is going to have a lot of time on their hands. A lot of their graders, 80% of their submissions are focused on value grading right now. So at that time, one of two things is going to happen. One, they're going to lower the cost and start, allowing more lower cost submissions to come in, lower the declared value and see those cards coming in. Or number two, they may just keep things where they're at and lay off the folks that were focused on the value submissions. I doubt that'll be the case, but something tells me it's going to be a little bit of both. They don't need the volume of workers they have right now, but also at the same time, they don't want to lose out on the market for value level services at $20 to $30 a card. Easy money to be had there. On the flip side too, if you think about it, maybe they want to stay on the more expensive side. I mean, what would you rather do from a workload perspective? Would you rather do 1 million cards at $50 a pop? Or would you rather do 5 million cards at $10 a pop? One sounds like a lot less work than the other. And at the end of the day, both of those levels of submissions are going to generate the same type of revenue, although one's going to have more overhead costs than the other. So curious to see what PSA is going to do in the upcoming year. That's all I have for you today, folks. Subscribe to the channel because that helps the channel grow. And keep leaving comments. Love reading what you all have to say. Very insightful. Again, it's great to see a lot of dialogue. And cheers to and hello to those of you who are overseas. It's good to see we have an international market here and an international presence. Have a good rest of the week, folks, and we will talk to you soon. Peace out.